Okay, let's go ahead and get started with this. Madam Clerk, you want to roll us out with the GPC first, I guess?
Yep, Thursday, February 23rd at 1 p.m. We only have two items on this agenda. They're both in draft. That is the bicycle and pedestrian facility design standards and the Gainesville Fire Assessment Methodology Update presentation.
I think both of those probably will take us some time if we allow ourselves to actually have a good discussion on those. So I think that's a good agenda. Other questions? Nope. Okay, let's move on to the 16th.
Okay, February 16th, 10 a.m. regular city commission meeting. First item there is the approval of minutes. The next is the perpetual easement at Northside Park to Alachua County. Then there's the approval of temporary construction easement and perpetual easement.
Right.
Proposal for additional professional design services for the East Side G-Tech site infrastructure. Okay. And then there's a resignation of Jamie Bell from the Development Review Board, and Sherwin, not talk today, Henry from the GCRA board.
Okay.
Item still in draft, request for approval to execute a source specified professional services agreement for Treasury consulting services with Claritas Treasury Solutions.
Okay.
Use of federal forfeiture funds for police equipment. And there's a settlement for Diane Wilson versus City of Gainesville. And into the morning, there's a first item is the quarterly housing update, followed by an item by Commissioner Eastman, expanding home ownership opportunities and starter homes through lot dimension standards.
So Commissioner Eastman, is this is brand new, right?
Yeah, we voted at the GPC meeting to not put this on GPC, but to put it on this particular agenda item.
Okay.
Or on this date.
And it's time sensitive because
what do you mean?
Tell me if I'm wrong, but it seems like what you're trying to achieve here is to get the plan board to make this part of what they bring back to us regarding the exclusionary zoning package, correct?
Yeah, it's going to the plan board February 24th, somewhere in February.
Yeah, the 27th. Yeah,
27th. Yeah. And so since we're actively doing this, and Commissioner Chestnut requested during our retreat that I talk about housing supply more generally, and this was one of the things that was coming up that's on this particular comprehensive plan update related to housing supply. This is where we put it.
So yeah, I expect there will be quite a bit of discussion around it, but I think it's fair to have it there. Let's also put in as a placeholder, and I have not talked with staff yet about this, so I apologize, Ms. Curry. But let's put in a placeholder about grace funding conversation, and I may take that back off, but I'll talk with you about that after this, if that's okay.
Just so you know, Mr. Mayor, we have a recommendation for increased grace funding just based on what we've been able to discuss through meetings with fire chief and others. It'll come up, I believe it's at the, Cynthia, if you're on the line, when is the budget amendment coming back? Is it February or March meeting?
March 2nd.
March.
Okay, then never mind. I don't need this. Good. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, I failed to say something when we had the item on consent on Claritas, the Treasury Consulting Services.
Yeah.
I'm always supposed to say that's going to go to the UAB this Thursday, and then it'll update with their recommendation.
Okay. Great.
All right. Resolutions in the morning, resolution for public transportation grant agreement. It's a block grant program for RTS operating assistance. followed by the acceptance of an FAA grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation.
So I would prefer, because I want us to make sure we have plenty of good think time on the housing issues prior to that. And I don't want us to get back into what we had last meeting. So I would prefer to move both of those items into the evening.
Okay. Then
Thank you.
there's a GRU solar contract in the afternoon, as well as rezoning from urban transit zone U9 to planned development for property at 2nd and 10th.
That's the CA Ventures project that we spent
Yeah.
half a day on last week.
Yeah, the second reading.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, either Andrew or the attorney, do we have to go through the presentation again if it's a second reading?
No.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
And then the ordinance specifying standards and duties of the city internal auditor. And then on first reading, you have the residential rental unit permit program and the request to vacate a right-of-way. There's also the consolidated police officers and firefighters retirement plan.
So let's take the remainder here and move those to the evening, because I'll promise you the GRU piece and potentially the 2 items following that, 2 or 3 items following that are going to require some conversation.
I was going to recommend the same thing, Mr. Mayor. I think that the solar GRU will be have some discussion there and some people speaking.
Yeah, I mean, I think that following from the retirement plan through the end, let's put those in the evening session. I don't think those are huge, but I think that we're going to be really pushed for time if we don't do that.
All right, so LD 22-142 sidewalk text amendment. And then a quasi judicial rezoning of a property at 4100 16th Boulevard. And then lastly, the TCH certified mail requirement. We have 1 proclamation thus far, Jesse Bobby Heard Day in the evening. And then the additional ordinances and business discussion item, or the resolutions and ordinances will appear here.
Right, so we'll be moving 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 total items to the evening, but most of those should be simple items.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I want to say that to the clerk, listing the agenda item with quasi judicial is helpful, because then as we get in the future, I think that's a really good thing. You may have done it in the past also, because then when we get these requests for meetings and stuff, I can immediately look at an agenda item and say, wait a second, that's quasi judicial. It helps me from an action, and scheduling standpoint. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I cannot take credit for that, so we'll pass on those kudos to Department of State Sustainable Development. And
Just pass it on, and it's helpful.
And Mr. Mayor, I forgot to mention this. Kristen wanted me to say this, that there was a typo I noticed in the PowerPoint I did for my agenda item that I'll send in. It's just, I have the lot frontage on one of the zoning categories. I put the wrong number on. Also, Mr. Mayor, we talked before just offhandedly about creating doing a day for Jim Painter and Craig Lowe, perhaps on separate days. I just wanted to, if that was still something you were interested in.
I would very much like to do that. Yeah, we should speak with families or friends and create proclamations for them. I would very much like to do that.
Okay.
Good reminder. Okay, any other questions?
Could the Craig Lowe Day be somewhere in March when he would have won one of his elections, or runoff in April? We could do that however many years. I can't remember how many years past that would have been for Craig Lowe. It's a thought.
Yeah, that's certainly possible. Yeah.
And I'll point out that, Dan, not to put you on the spot or anything, but I know you and Jim knew each other. You were at the funeral as well. If you wanted to work on getting that sorted out, I think that'd be helpful.
Yeah, I can reach out to his family if you like.
Great. Yeah, let's do that. And yeah, we'll get those set up, if not for this meeting, for future meetings, so that they're separated and their own thing. I like that.
Mr. Mayor, there are a couple of items from our last meeting that we delayed. 2023-59 perpetual easement between Northeast 26 Terrace and Southeast 26 Terrace.
Yeah, that's on
On different agendas. I just wanted to bring them up. And the other one is another perpetual easement.
yeah, I thought we had those on the, hold on.
I think I saw those on consent.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Are they on consent?
The one was, yeah, I think,
Which one? Let's see. No, that's a different one.
I think they're two different ones. So 2023-01 is for
Yeah,
both
that's a
types of-
different one. This one is Northwest 13th Street, Northwest 23rd Avenue, and the other one is Northeast 26 Terrace and Southeast 26 Terrace.
yeah, that's on here
Where is it?
on consent. It's 2023-102.
yeah, there is another one though, I think, because we had two perpetual easements on the previous agenda, and there was another that DOT
there's that
was
one.
doing
Okay.
for a traffic signal. This one, the Northeast 26 Terrace, that's related to the hybrid pedestrian crosswalk by Cone Park, but there's another one that we'll need to check on.
Right. So did we pick them all up, Andrew?
Yeah, everyone except that one, I think.
right.
The right-of-way vacation is on there.
Right.
And the rental housing changes are on there.
All right.
Okay.
Tony, is that a new hand?
Yes, I just wanted to give a reminder that February 15th, there's also a GRU budget meeting on February 15th. So that's in the middle of all of this,
Right, Wednesday, yeah.
Wednesday, 3 o'clock. That's it.
Mr. Mayor, it looks like they're going to reschedule a JLAC for the 23rd of February. So we're just kind of waiting for confirmation, but that looks like the date.
23rd, okay.
That's the GPC agenda we just went through.
Well, yeah, but before we go canceling GPC, let's
Right,
let's
let's see.
wait till we get closer. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right, anything else, y'all? Very good. We have agendas, yay.
Thank you.